Hello, 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 and welcome to LaserBeam Live. This is episode number 34. 34, it's such a big number. I thought 26 was a big number, but we are at 34. Who is ready to complete our project from last week where we had a little bit of issues, just not cutting all the way through? I think I always tell people that every piece of wood is going to be a little bit different, even if it's the same material. But today we're going to try to cut all the way through. We're going to adjust our settings a little bit, and we're going to go through a few common laser beam issues that I've been dealing with in the customer service side over the past little bit, and then hopefully this will help some people if they run into that issue. Let's take a look at the chat. Dana's in the chat. I think Dana's going to be working on some cool vortex stuff. I think he just got a vortex from us, and as well, he's going to start playing with the 3-element lens for the laser beam. So that's very cool. Thank you, Dana, for all your support. Go check out his YouTube channel. He makes great videos. Jack in the Shot, resident laser demon. He hit me up last week after the live stream to be one of our first CO2 laser beta testers. And we're not there yet, guys. We're super early in the development. But come on, Jack, you know I got you. Come on. But more on that way in the future. John asks, are you removing the laser when using the router? You should be removing the laser when running your router. It's just the two M5 bolts. Unplug your connectors. Keep it to the side. Like most electronics, you probably just don't want particulate mucking up the works, chips, things like that. Anytime you're doing a router job, you don't want any of that stuff messing with your laser, especially because it can shorten the lifespan of your diode. It can shorten the lifespan of your lens. And then you still have to clean it up before you want to use it again. So it's always best to just remove it and keep it to the side. Thanks for joining, John. Gary, thank you for joining us. Bill, thanks for joining us. Kenny, dropping by to say hello from dropping by to say hello from again. Sorry, that might have been a typo on your end. I ordered the SLB yesterday. Can't wait. Hey, thanks for the support, Gary. I know Chris is in the chat, so he appreciates that order. He's been working hard over the past over a year with a whole team of electrical devs, and now we are kind of testing things internally, and Chris is putting the pedal to the metal. He is grinding. Like he said in the chat, he's still in the office right now, and I believe him because he's always into the office late night when a project is being worked on. So guys, you guys can rest assured that the team at CNC Labs, led by Chris, is making sure that the SLB is going to be shipped in 2024 on his timeline, but also shipped as well tested, kind of pushed to its limits to make sure that you guys are reaping all the benefits of all the team's hard work over the past year. So, how you doing, Chris? Hopefully, having a good time in the office. Doug, thank you for joining us. Nicholas, thank you for joining us. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do a little bit of company news. So, first, SLB, exciting news. Pre-order is open. There's still some steps to go through, obviously. Chris has been updating everybody with some very detailed updates, as you know, CNC Labs is notorious for, and you guys love it. Getting all the little nitty gritty, whether it's good, the bad, the ugly, you guys love getting the updates, and we'll continue to give it to you. So just keep updated. Keep updated with our blogs, our YouTube channel, our social medias, and you'll always know what's happening with a particular project that you're interested in production, and just what's happening at CNC Labs as a whole. Chris says he's having lots of fun working on customizable macro buttons. Really cool. The SLB will have customizable macro buttons. It'll also have a few macro buttons built into the e-stop. But guys, go watch the SLB update videos, the pre-order videos, the live stream that went on earlier this week, and you'll get so much more detail if you're super interested in that. Check out our website and go give it a pre-order, because who doesn't want a better CNC board? More features. Like it's every CNCer's wet dream to have a better CNC board, a better brain for your CNC. So go check out the pre-order link. Check out the videos if you need more information, and there's just going to be more to come. So that's all good on the SLB side. Obviously, if you have questions, now is a great time, because we know Chris is in the chat. And even if he ends up leaving, if he's busy with something, I can always take a question to him next time I see him and hopefully get back to you guys, or at least he can add that into the next update video. So do not hesitate to ask any SLB questions. G-Sender. The G-Sender team is gearing up for a kind of a new release that hopefully will solve a lot of the little bugs that people have been dealing with over the past little bit. But now they are ready to start working on and releasing a more polished release of G-Sender. So what Chris and the G-Sender team needs you guys to do, if you have the time, if you feel like it, is go to our website, go to the G-Sender tab, and go download the most recent version of G-Sender Edge, okay? Because the more you break on that, the more things will end up getting fixed in the new G-Sender. So we love getting your tickets. We don't love it, but we love supporting our customers. So we love getting your tickets on any issues that you run in with, and we love kind of making sure that we can eventually handle those so that you guys can have a polished, smooth experience with G-Sender and the long mill. So go check out the most recent build of G-Sender Edge so you can play with new features, things that the team has been tinkering with. And then hopefully, if you run, like not hopefully, but if you do run into any issues, definitely send in a ticket, send in a report, and then we can get that hopefully handled in the long term with G-Sender as a whole. What else is happening at CNC Labs? The Move. Go check out the Move video on YouTube. I feel like an advertiser. Am I doing an infomercial right now? Maybe, but I was born to do it. So go check out our Move video. It's on our YouTube channel right now. We did a big move. Shouts out to our entire team led by our QA engineers, Mike and John. They kind of have been working on this tirelessly over the past 3 or 4 months to get us into the new building. We are in, and now we are organizing stuff. If you saw that there was a little bit of a delay in shipping, don't worry. We are back to shipping full speed. So as we kind of make sure and finalize the layout of the shop, things will speed up again, and we will be able to utilize the extra space. So that'll be fun. So, Alt Mill, guys, who's excited for the Alt Mill? We're talking about it last time, and we released, Andy and Daniel released the video for the Alt Mill. So now you guys have more information. Definitely sign up if you're interested. There's gonna be a small batch of 50. I'm sure those 50 are gonna go very fast. So if you're interested, sign up, stay updated so that you could be one of those first 50. And of course, if they sell out really fast, we'll definitely start doing larger production runs so that we can kind of meet the demand of you, our customers, and our community. So fun stuff there. What else is happening at CNC Labs? We're working on a CO2 laser. We actually filmed a masterpiece, okay, created by me. The rest of the CO2 team helped me flush out the script right, added their ideas. We had our whole marketing team kind of throwing ideas in there to craft this video. It's gonna be a little weird, it's gonna be a little different, but hopefully you guys like it, and it's gonna be very informative at the same time. So yeah, our CO2 dev announcement video will be coming out hopefully before the end of the year, if not very early in January. We will be releasing that to kind of give you guys that preliminary information, give you a place to sign up for emails, give you a place to give us your opinion in the survey so that we can start kind of making the product for you guys specifically. We have already started ordering parts for prototype. We are hoping to have a prototype done by end of January. We will release a new update to show you guys what we've been working on and keep you guys updated on the production. So I am personally very excited about that project. We're not trying to move too fast, but we are trying to push things forward so that we can make some progress over this Christmas break. So keep an eye out for the announcement video. It'll come with an email list sign up and a survey so you guys can give us your opinion on that. All right. Okay, let me just take a break because that was a lot. Okay, that was a lot. I got in my CNC bag, my infomercial bag, and I delivered a lot of news. So what are we doing today? We are continuing the ornaments, which is just the basics of cutting stuff out and engraving stuff using light burn and executing it in G-Sender. So last time we ran into an issue where we did 4 passes at 2.2 millimeters per second, 100% on the cutting, and we were able to make it through. It just didn't clean cut all the way through. And usually those settings work for me, but you never know. Every setup is going to be different. Even the temperature could affect the way your stuff is cutting, the type of wood, the grain of the wood. So even one side of the wood might cut differently. So I just need to adjust the settings. So that's what we're going to be doing today. So if you missed the designing part, which was super simple, go check out LaserBeam Live number 33, and you can see how I designed this little ornament. It's a small little piece, but showing you guys what you guys can do if you guys want to make simple stuff very quickly just with the laser. And then Scott is going to have a whole cool video on how to make even more complex stuff with the router for Christmas and holiday ornaments. So I'm going to show you guys a little something. Hopefully we cut it out today. So I think what happened last time is I lost my little G2 focus finder. Guys, if you lose your G2 focus finder, just make sure to go to our resources, get the actual focus height, and then you can make your own focus finder that is that height so that you can make sure, because I kind of was just freestyling. You would think after almost three years of running a laser, I would be able to kind of eyeball the G2 focus height, but I think I honestly just got it off because I retested it today and I haven't moved my Z height and it was not in focus at all. So hopefully that was the issue, but just for good measure, I lowered my speed. Thank you so much, Chris. You know what? Follow his lead. Like the video, like the stream. You know, if you appreciate us as CNC Labs, if you appreciate these live streams that I give you, you're in my home. We're all cozy. We're comfortable. We're chatting. You're listening. Ooh, silky smooth nighttime drive time radio voice for you. Give the video a like. Give the live stream a like. Thank you, Chris, for the reminder. Somebody always has to remind me to like up the social medias. So yeah, back to this. What did we change this time? So we changed our speed, so we lowered it. If things aren't cutting, you can lower. If you're maxed out on power, which I am, whenever I'm cutting, I'm trying to max out on power. So dip switch 5, 100% power, then you can lower speed. Power and speed are gonna be inversely related when it comes to the laser, right? If we spend more time cutting into a material with the laser power hitting the material, then we are essentially raising the power that the wood is actually absorbing from the laser. So we didn't cut all the way through. We got really close. We could see the char marks in the end. We just couldn't cleanly push it through. So I lowered it from 2.2 millimeters per second to 2 millimeters per second, keeping everything at 100% power. And I'm just gonna add an extra cut, because why not? Why not? If I think that it cut all the way through after 4 passes, then I can always stop it. But I'm just gonna add an extra cut just in case. I also lowered the speed on our engraving because I want it to be a little bit darker. So I just lowered the speed from I think 50 millimeters per second to 30 millimeters per second. Again, if you don't know how we did this design or how we originally set it up, just watch LaserBeam Live number 33 and then you can kind of get up to date. All of the LaserBeam Lives and live streams in general are saved on our YouTube channel under the live tab. So even if you missed the SLB launch live, you can go back and watch that at your own time. So just gonna double check our S value max. Make sure that's 255, has to match your $30 on your controller firmware. And then I'm gonna go ahead and save it. So I will save this as Christmas V2. Let's go. We can pop open G-Sender now. Unfortunately, I'm still on using a regular G-Sender, but I'm going to tell you guys to go try out the new G-Sender Edge. I just ran into a small issue that I will get figured out later, but I didn't have enough time to figure it out tonight. So do as I say, not as I do. Go check out the new G-Sender Edge and play with it. Double check, obviously, your settings. You start in the settings tab. Make sure that you are toggled to spindle laser. Make sure that your minimum power is 0, maximum power is 255. Then double check our firmware here, $30, 255, $31, 0, and enabled. Guys, so we actually ran into an issue with our testing board where we updated the software and some weird things started happening in the background. But how we got to fixing that, so guys, we were having the issue where our laser was firing, it just wasn't firing at full power. And we were testing it on the laser power meter and we weren't getting full power. So we flashed our firmware. We reset everything in the settings to, toggle back to laser 0, 255. And then we re-added these settings here and enabled laser again. And if you are using a version of G-Sender that has an issue where your $31, when you want to set it to 0, it auto sets to 1, then you can go to console here and you can just type in $31 equals 1, or sorry, equals 0. And you can manually set that and then click $, enter, and then you can double check your firmware settings manually here. So as you can see, maybe you can't see, it's very small, but it does say, I'll open this up. All right. It does say $30 equals, $31 equals 0. So if you're having that issue where G-Sender is incorrectly overriding your $31 value to 1 instead of 0 that you're trying to set it to and that it needs to be to run your laser correctly, then you do want to just go to the console, type in $31 equals 0, enter. You can double check that the settings saved by just clicking $equal, and then you'll get all your EEPROM settings. You can go to $31, make sure it overrode that error, and then you're all good to go. So this time I made sure to measure my focus height correctly, or as correctly as I can without the focus finder, but I did measure a piece material, and then I kind of used that as my impromptu focus finder. So that should have fixed our issue. We should be more in focus than we were last time. We lowered the speed, and I'm hoping that we cut all the way through this time. So we are looking for Christmas V2. So we need to go to desktop, and then LaserBeam Live, and then we got V2 here. We're gonna open that up. Going to zero everything. And I have it starting at the bottom, so I wanna make sure I have enough space. So all I'm gonna do is, I see that this is about 90 millimeters by about 80 something millimeters. So I'm just going to, here, I'll show you where my laser is just so you guys know why I'm reorienting things. So I actually set my laser up at the top corner, but it's actually at the bottom corner. So all I'm gonna do, I already set my Z height, it's already in focus. So all I'm gonna do is type in 90 on the XY move, and then I'm just gonna move it, click this once, and now I'm at where I should be, and I'm just gonna turn the laser on so I know I'm still on my material. I am. I'm gonna shift it just a little bit, so I'm gonna change this move back to like 2 millimeters. I'm just gonna shift it 2 millimeters just so I don't go off my material, because my material might not be perfectly straight. So I should be all good, and then now I can zero all. And now I'm at my correct starting point. I have enough space on the material, and I should be good to go. So I'm gonna go ahead and start the job. Dip switch 5, we changed our settings. We're zeroed out all correctly. Let's go ahead and start this. Okay, so I think I made a mistake here, and I made this thing way too big. So I'm gonna go to 0. I'm gonna go back to my light burn. I think I changed the size on my old one, but I did not change the size on this. What am I trying to do here? So I don't want it that big. I want it about half that size. So I think I want this about like 45. And I'm going to go back. I'm gonna make sure I have everything selected. So all my line work is selected. I don't want my image to be selected. I just want this selected so I can change how big this is. Oh, forgot that one. So I have everything selected there, and then I want to change this to like 45 millimeters because I don't want this that big, or else it's just going to take way too long. So that seems about an appropriate height, but I'm going to keep all the settings the same, and I'm just going to call this one V3. And we will go to desktop, LaserBeam Live, and we will save that. And I will go ahead and open this, and then I'll just reopen project. So same file, just making it smaller just so we can actually get through this project in our allotted hour-long time. As much as I love you guys, you know, live streaming for longer than an hour is a little bit tough. So forgive me if I try to limit these things to an hour because it makes it more sustainable, okay? All right, so we're all good there. I might as well line it up to the very bottom just to save material space. All right, I seem pretty good there. I'm gonna zero it all, and I should be all good. So I'm gonna start this thing again, and we should be, yep, we have enough space all around, and we should be all good. honestly, this thing shouldn't take too long because it's a very small piece. We did lower the speed, but the cutting is what's going to take up most of the time. So something that Chris has actually been working on, and that's actually implemented in the new G-Sender Edge, so go check that out, is actually a more accurate time estimator. So guys, if you know the meme of this live stream, it's that every time I start a job, I'm like, hey, this might take longer than I have for the stream. I might just have to let it run off stream, and then I'll come back on the next stream and show you our project. But now we actually have access to a more accurate estimator. And if you guys try it out and everybody's trying it out and we find that it's actually more accurate, then it's definitely going to make its way into the newer builds of G-Sender. Hey Steve, thanks for joining us. So I think it believes it's going to take 2 minutes. I know it's going to take longer because I don't know if it knows how to time out the time it's going to take for the cutting lines, because although we're moving pretty reasonably fast. Dana, thank you for reminding me. Hey Raul, thanks for joining us. Dana asking if there's anything new about, regarding the magnetic laser mount. Guys, I wish I could, you know what I'm gonna do? Guys, you know what I'm actually gonna do? I just came up with this idea and I'm gonna go push it. I'm gonna go ask, or I'm gonna make this happen. So we are gonna do a competition. We're gonna do a design, a DIY design competition on who can design the best magnetic mount for the LaserBeam. And whoever designs the best mount, we will actually take the design and release it to the public so that everybody can have it. I'm not 100% sure we'll actually do that, but that idea came because Dana asked where the magnetic mount is, and honestly, my mind has just been on CO2 laser. And I do apologize because I did want to get a magnetic mount on, but yeah, my passion, my heart drew me away from LaserBeam stuff and towards the CO2 laser. But that is something I do want to get done. It just might take a little bit longer, or I just might not have to be, I might not be the person actually designing it in the end. So we are working on potentially getting some new students in working for us and some co-op students as well. And we may get more design hands and we may have that ability to release something. But yeah, the CO2 laser has kind of encompassed my life, and I set out some time to do LaserBeam stuff. It just hasn't been design. It's mostly just been supply chain to make sure we're shipping, customer service to make sure that you guys are always able to use your lasers and you guys get the help that you need. And yeah, after that, it's then like the rest of my time gets put into CO2 laser research development, supply chain, you know, management and all that fun stuff. So I do apologize for the magnetic mount taking a little bit longer, but I do believe it will come eventually. I just can't really give you a timeline on it, but hopefully when we have more kind of design heads with our students and all that fun stuff that we usually employ with the local university, we'll be able to whip something together that works well and that we can release to you guys as soon as possible. So we're now cutting, and I think that's where the issue is with this version of the estimators is that although the engraving was running really fast, and if this project was entirely engraving, this estimator would be like perfectly accurate. A part of the like 9,000 lines was engraving, and then like 1,000 lines is actually just the cutting, because cutting lines are just super simple, right? Or they're more simple and require less lines of G code. So it's taking almost like an average of the G code and how fast it's going and how fast it thinks it's going to finish. But when a part of the job is just so drastically different in its like speed characteristics, I think it's getting a little bit tripped up. But we'll see once we get the new G-Sender downloaded and running, and you guys can check out the new G-Sender Edge to see if that new time estimator actually gives you better estimations for jobs like this where you're doing a laser job, but it's also an engraving and cutting job, because usually when you mix both, you usually start to get some inaccuracies in the time. So it is doing its first layer on the whole box here. And hey, if I don't feel like it cut out, I'm just gonna run it again because I do not care. I want this thing cut out clean, and if it takes an extra couple minutes, I don't mind running the job again. It's all just about how many lines of cutting do you want to run it, and at what speed will your material just light on fire? Because that's obviously the reason why we just don't run it at like 0.1 millimeters per second, because at a certain slowness or lack of speed, it'll be just too much power in such a short amount of time with no movement that you're like, depending on the material, it might just combust and you might end up with a small fire, which is why you should never run your laser unattended. You should always be here to watch it and make sure things are going all right. But yeah, so you're always trying to find the balance of how slow you can run it and obviously how safely you can run it. And the middle ground there is just to add more passes, right? Which might be a little bit inconvenient. Let's say I was cutting out 30 inches by 12 inches material and I tried to cut that with a laser. I would just advise that you use the router to cut and try to engrave, because even an engraving of that size would take quite a bit of time. That's just the nature of the speed limitations of the long mill. It is a CNC router platform, firstly, and then secondly, we were able to develop an add-on for it. So just keep that in mind when you're doing projects, and you know, if you really love the laser stuff, definitely keep up to date with the CO2 laser, because that's what that machine is being built for. We recently just received a new OhmTech laser, a 100-watt OhmTech laser in our shop, and I'm really excited to play with it. We just uncrated it a few days ago. I think yesterday we uncrated it. So I've been taking a look at the components because I'm currently shopping for components for a prototype. And I think upgrading from like the cheapest overseas machine, which we had before, is what we used for like in-house production for our CO2 laser. Now we're at like a OhmTech, which is kind of a step above, but we also get the form factor, the size, right, that we want, with a little bit more upgraded parts. So now I'm taking a look at the parts and seeing how they're designing theirs, and hopefully that'll influence what we like and what we don't like about the OhmTech. We can take that and we can kind of add to it with our CO2 machine, because you know we use a CO2 machine, so we're not just people who sell it. Like, we use it for production. I love it. I love making stuff with it. So hopefully using this new machine, higher quality machine, will kind of point us in the right direction of what features we need to focus on, where our pain points are, and then the survey that we'll release with the announcement video will kind of help us gauge your pain points, right? But definitely my pain point is I wish I could cut and engrave larger items in a reasonable amount of time, and that just can't be really accomplished with the LaserBeam and the long mill, but with the CO2 laser, definitely can. We're actually going to be going with the Ryuta. So Jack asked, is it going to be Gerbil-based, Ryuta, SLB maybe? We're actually going to be going with a Ryuta. Maybe one day in the future, we'll be able to use the SLB. But for now, we want to trust the decades of experience that the Ryuta has with specifically laser control, right? So Ryuta, especially once you go above a certain threshold of model, is like a commercial controller platform. So you just end up getting a lot more reliability. Where is he right now? Oh, he's right behind me. I think he's just super curious. I think every time we do a live stream, he gets a little bit more comfortable with the CNC noises. And that's something I talked to Chris about. The SLB drivers are actually going to be a little bit quieter than the current long mill drivers, just because of the drivers that they ended up implementing in the board design. So he'll definitely be releasing a video at some point kind of explaining that, which is kind of a cool fact. But yeah, Zeus is just a little bit curious, but at least he's not barking, and at least he's not whining at the machine. He's just kind of sniffing. I'm sure he smells the wood. I'm actually gonna go open up the window right now, just because I do smell a little bit of the wood, just because we're cutting for so long. So that's another potential add-on that I've always wanted to do, and you've probably heard me talk about it a lot, is a venting kit. Almost redesign the dust chute to help vent lasers that don't have a full enclosure like this, or even me, like I would just want to vent things outside. So sometimes it's a little bit easier just to run a design that can kind of corral the air and then run it through inline fan that can get it outside. Note, Jim, the laser driver will be the exact same. Myself, Chris, and Johan, one of our engineers, we've all been testing the laser with the SLB to make sure that we're only getting a better experience with it. And they actually added an enable switch, so people who, you know, our company ethos is like, we never want to sell you something that you don't need. So let's say you don't want, like, the LaserBeam is too little power. The CO2 is too much. You don't want to buy a second machine. That's fine. You can go through other companies to get higher power diode lasers. You can make very simple design mounts to mount it to your long mill. And then now they've added an enable switch to the laser. So if you have a regular laser beam, you don't need to worry about the enable switch. You're just going to plug in the 2 pins into the SLB. But if you go to another supplier that actually needs an enable pin to fire the laser, you can actually use it. So, you know, the SLB is continuing on in a very open source fashion, and actually, hopefully, will actually open up the arena of potential laser diodes that could be operated with the long mill SLB controller. So keep that in mind. So let's say you have some different branded laser that has more power, and you're like, oh, I wish I could just use it with a longboard, but I need this enable pin. You will be able to just plug that in and take advantage of the SLB's enable pin. But if you have the LaserBeam, we are testing the LaserBeam with the SLB every step of the way. So as soon as that new board comes in, I'll be testing it, making sure that we have one-to-one results with the longboard and the LaserBeam in terms of output when running projects. And then Johan does a little bit more of the technical testing to make sure that no funny stuff is happening, like certain pins aren't getting enabled when other stuff is getting enabled, and making sure that we get the firmware right to keep all you guys safe and to make sure operation is optimal. So we just finished our job. Did it cut out? We will find out. I really hope it did, or else we'll have to adjust settings again. Yeah, so we didn't actually cut out, and I'm not sure what's happening here. We seem to be cutting out like in certain spots, but not in other spots. So what I should have done is I should have left it in there and ran it for another pass, but I was very curious. I wanted to know what happened. So we're running into some issues here where we're not cutting all the way through. Like, it's literally, we're getting stuck on this last page. So this is what the first one looked like, where we almost cut all the way through. This one we had even less luck, even though we were putting more power down to our material. So let's see what we can play with. One thing, because I raised the number of passes, I should have adjusted my Z step per pass so that the laser was in focus the whole way, right? So that's something I didn't do that I probably should have. So this is 1/8 inch, so a little bit over, like 3.1 something millimeters. So with 5 passes, I should have been running it with a Z step per pass at like, Z step per pass should have been a little like 0.6 instead of 0.8, right? Yeah, 0.6 would have just about maybe 0.6 something, 0.62, 0.63 would have got us like perfectly so that we're staying in focus all the way there. So we can definitely try that. Or sometimes we kind of go to the, I'm just going to go the opposite route. Well, not the opposite. I'm going to change this to 0.5, and then I'm just going to go with 6 passes, and hopefully we can get this thing to cut out, because I'm going to give it one more try, and then I'm going to have to, okay, so I was pretty good, pretty there. I wasn't too bad. 0.62 millimeters times 5 would have been, 3.175 millimeters, which is like 1/8 inch. I'm sorry, I'm Canadian, okay? We like millimeters over here, okay? Don't poison us with your inches, okay? Okay, that came out wrong, okay? Do not clip that, okay? Marketing team, do not clip that one. Let's give it one more try. 6 passes. We adjusted our Z step down to make sure that we are staying in focus the entire way. And yeah, if that doesn't work, then I'm gonna do what I suggest you customers do. I'm gonna take the laser beam off once the stream ends. I'm gonna clean it. I'm gonna clean my lens. I'm going to adjust my air assist to make sure that it's hitting my material. And then I might actually just test the power to make sure that we're not losing power, because I have been using this laser beam for quite a long time. So maybe we're slightly losing a little bit of power, but maybe also it's just the material. So we'll never know. I'll probably just try a different piece of birch and see if we can cut all the way through that, and that'll kind of tell me if it's the material. It could even be the grain, so this time I might even try cutting it this way to see if we can get it to cut through. So let's run that really quick. We got time to give it another test. So we're keeping the speed the same. We added another pass, 2 millimeters per second. I'm going to call this V4. So let's give it another try. I don't think we've ever had this hard of a time cutting through some wood. Even in LaserBeam Live number 32, we did 1/8 inch acrylic, and acrylic seems to cut pretty much at the same power settings as wood. So I'm a bit surprised, but hey, that's the name of the game. Let's see what happens. No harm in trying again. And if it doesn't work, then guys, cut your material out of your router and then engrave all sorts of beautiful things on it once you've already cut it with your router, okay? There ain't no shame in adjusting your plan to make sure that you guys can get the projects that you need done in a timely manner. I'm gonna zero all, and I'm gonna reload the new file, version 4. And just gonna double check my settings. Just gonna give it a quick, yep, we have access to full power here. Make sure I'm all zeroed out. Thank you. Don't forget to click the like button. Thank you very much, Dana, for reminding us all. And let's go ahead. Let's do this one more time for good luck. Or maybe this project is just cursed. I am cursed by Santa Claus. Maybe I was just a bad kid and I'm on the naughty list. And a task that was so simple for me before, which was cutting 3mm birch, I'm finding a hard time completing it over the past 2 streams, but that's okay, because we'll figure it out. I feel like that's the ethos you need to have as a maker, all right? Sometimes you get frustrated, sometimes things don't work, but if you've been watching the stream long enough, you know this ain't our first rodeo. We have a few projects that didn't work under our belt, but we try anyways. I just never thought it would be a project as simple as cutting 3mm birch, but we'll find out. I imagine my lens, I'm being lazy, my lens is probably a little bit dirty. I should dial in my focus a little bit more, and I should dial in the angle of my air assist. But yeah, hopefully we'll cut out, and I'll even try slowing it down maybe for the last pass, just so we kind of get more power down to our material to cut all the way through. Yeah, maybe I just, you know what, Dana, you might be right. Maybe I just created like such a chill environment doing the LaserBeam lives at home. Maybe the laser's just like chilling out, man. Maybe it's just like, it's too chill right now. Like it's just, maybe it's just vibing right now. You know, it's not really trying to put in all that work. You guys make me laugh. You know, I'm a sore loser. I don't like to lose. I don't like failure. So I really want this one to work. But, you know, we could be graceful if it doesn't. And I can confirm I will not be crying myself to sleep after I end the stream if this doesn't work. So just know in your hearts that this Christmas ornament did not break my soul, okay? I want you guys to know this. But I have a good feeling about this, okay? We adjusted, we changed some things. You know, it's exactly what I tell you guys to do when you guys send in tickets. I tell you guys to adjust, change, we take a look at stuff. And if we're still kind of running into the same issues, then maybe we'll start looking at replacing a few things, cleaning the lens, stuff like that, to make sure we're getting as much of that power down to our material as possible. So we are starting the cut pass, our first. You know what? Sometimes sometimes I like slightly bowed material, you know, because you know exactly when things cut out. Because there's a little bit of a gap, the material that cuts out just drop just a little bit. And sometimes that can be annoying, but whenever you're wondering like, hey, did this cut all the way through? Like that is something that is definitely annoying. But hey, maybe next time, if this doesn't cut all the way through, maybe we can actually use Lightburn's print and cut feature, because I know we ended up like getting it done, but then we moved on. So maybe that could be an idea. So what happens when you just about cut all the way through, but you know, it just didn't make the last little layer of the wood, and you don't want to scrap the material completely? Well, the answer is that you use the print and cut tool, and we have a few videos, one that I think didn't work and then one we got it to work, so you could definitely go back and watch those. But yeah, when you have a situation where you're like, oh, I don't want to waste this material, I was so close, it was almost done, you want to use the Lightburn's print and cut tool, which allows you to line things up via software. Even if you moved your material, you set reference points in Lightburn. You do have to run the project again in Lightburn, but it will line things back up via the reference points on your that you set on your software, and then the reference point that you put on the actual wood, and then you can redo a job even if you moved your material. So that is definitely something we can explore for the next video, because it would work perfectly, because I'm not the project isn't like, it's almost so close that it would kind of be a waste to scrap that material. But once you move it, you're a little bit screwed in terms of like you're never going to be able to manually line things up. But the geniuses over at Lightburn made a feature for it, so maybe we need to spend a little bit more time playing with it, and we can come back to this project and we can even try to salvage some of that wood and some of those little ornaments. Yeah, I might even just need to play with the focus, because I still might be slightly out of focus. That might be causing me to lose out on a little bit of power there. Guys, I'm not infallible, okay? Sometimes you guys run into the same issues I run into. Sean Alexander says he loves the sound that this thing makes. I know, it's like one of those little music boxes that you have to like crank, and just makes these like weird little noises. I think Zeus is getting used to it. He's just chilling on the couch. And from our last two streams, he was kind of jumping around and super confused about the machine and the sounds it was making, but he seems very used to it, and I also love the machine. There's actually a way you can, it might be a little bit difficult, but there's definitely a way that you can actually get your machine to make like a song. There's like software that you can run, and you can create this a set of G code that will actually make your machine essentially sing a song. I don't know how difficult it is. Andy talked about it, and I think he showed us videos, and I think he's done it before, or maybe just showed us videos a long time ago. But there's definitely software out there that you guys could explore, make some cool videos. I'd definitely be interested to see that. or maybe we'll play with it and we'll show you guys one day. My fingers are crossed, everyone. Whether this works or not, this is the last time I'm trying it. I need to go back to the drawing board, clean some stuff, double check settings, test the laser power, make sure I don't need a replacement of any kind, because yeah, this thing has been running, has some hours on it. But we'll start with the basics of just cleaning the lens, double checking focus, and then going from there. Oh, Nicholas has tried it actually with the Super Mario theme. How was it? Did it sound, was it cool? Did it work, or was it kind of like, you kind of get that it's playing the Super Mario, or how accurate did you feel it was? That's what I'm curious about. So we're just finishing up our second pass. We got 4 more to go. So it worked, and it wasn't so bad. That's good to see. Hopefully you guys definitely try to search it up, but you guys will be able to find it. Make some music with your long mill. That would be really cool. Maybe one day we'll set up like 15 machines, and you know, they'll all be like different octaves, and like we'll have a whole orchestra. No worries, can watch laser stream stuff. Oops, was that for the wrong chat, Alan? Everybody disregard Alan's last message. Oh, never mind, he deleted it. Okay, perfectly. It's been disregarded. I didn't even see it. Okay, I'm not a snitch. I didn't see nothing. No, it was just a random message about laser stuff. I don't know. How are you guys doing though? Any questions? Any company questions? The Clack Shack asked, do you got a honeycomb or just using a spoil board? I'm just using a spoil board, which I know I'm missing out on a lot of my gains. You know, maybe what I'll do is I'll get some wood, or I'll get some wood, maybe like a 1/4 inch thick, and on our CO2 laser, I'll cut out this wooden honeycomb pattern, and then I can put it over my sheet so that when I do my cutting, I have access to that airflow. Because guys, if you don't know what like a honeycomb bed does, is you get more power out of your laser because you're allowing the laser to actually follow through the material. If it's actually cutting and it's actually going through, it allows that, and it also allows that airflow. And you can actually cut a lot deeper, or I wouldn't say a lot deeper, but on a CO2 you get better results with it. And I imagine the same thing is true for a laser diode. So maybe that will be my next video where I try to. Yeah, I definitely could, but I'm trying to come up with new ideas. Okay, I don't want to come to you guys. I don't want to come back with a part 3 where I'm literally cutting out the same file again and failing. Okay, I think it would be cool. And it's like, this is my permanent laser machine that I have at home. So it would be beneficial if it just doesn't matter the size of the material. It just permanently sits on this little DIY honeycomb bed that I can just do out of wood, because I don't mind marking up my wasteboard. And that will just kind of keep everything elevated. But guys, if you're at home and you don't want to do all that, take the Clack Shack's advice. You can just actually raise your material. So maybe just adding something to each side, a material of the same thickness, and wherever you're cutting, you want to be in that open space. 2 benefits. First benefit is that once the material actually cuts through, it'll actually fall, and you'll actually know visually, so that you don't have to move your material. If you don't see the visual fall, then you can always just run an extra pass to make sure that you're cutting all the way through. So I'm just lowering the speed for my last pass, just because, you know, it's heartbreaking when you cut something and it doesn't cut all the way through. So yeah, guys, definitely take his advice. Elevate your materials. If you're running through the same issues as me, obviously clean your lens. Make sure your air assist is focusing. Make sure you have like power dilation. Make sure your S value max matches your $30. But if all that doesn't work and you're still having trouble cutting something that you used to be able to cut perfectly with the same settings, obviously it could be your wood, but obviously try to use some elevation. Okay, elevate your piece. Honeycomb will also lessen the back burn on the piece. I do lasers, but have been looking at the long, due to my viewers' recommendation, looking at the long mill. I'm assuming, sorry, the icon just blocks that. So the Clack Shack, if I think he has a YouTube channel. I'm assuming because he said his viewers. So this is very good information, guys. You'll end up with cleaner cuts on the bottom of your material, and you'll be able to visually, if you elevate, then you'll be able to visually see when your material. If you use a honeycomb, then you'll just get better results in terms of cutting. But and hopefully he gets a long mill, because then he can start making videos on long mill stuff, and he can give you guys even more specific tips in the long mill. Thank you, Jack. Jack, you are a real supporter, Jack. You're adding more people to the fun. Okay, so let's all tell the Clack Shack to get a long mill, because he seems like a very smart guy, and he seems willing to help, willing to share his knowledge. So how fun would that be if we have another, very competent guy who can share his knowledge online with cool videos about the long mill. So definitely the Clack, definitely check us out, and hopefully end up with a long mill. I lived in Kitchener at the time, so driving around the corner to Waterloo to pick up the machine was a great deal. It was a big deal maker. It was a real deal maker. Sorry, the last word just gets cut off. Oh wow, Clack hit 20,000 subs, guys. Let's all congratulate Clack on 20,000 subs. That is a large feat. Lots of dedication. I'm sure he's providing so much value, because channels like that only grow when you're providing value. So damn, we got a little mini celeb in the house. Okay, Clack is known, okay, by all the demons like Dana and Jack. Okay, he's already known. Sean, so yeah, Sean says that. So yeah, guys, if you guys are local, you guys can always do a local pickup and check out the shop. So maybe that is the determining factor. I don't know where Clack is, but if you're in the area of Kitchener, Ontario, definitely swing by the office. You don't have to buy anything. We can kind of show you just some cool stuff. Maybe you can get a up close and personal with the long mill, but only if you're in the area. We don't want you flying out here. Okay, you got big things. Okay, you got people far south Alabama. Okay, maybe not. Hey, Clack, maybe you want to check out our alt mill if you're interested in 4x2 CNCs. If you go to our YouTube channel and search for the alt mill video, we're actually developing a more kind of robust industrial, ball bearings, rails, all that fun stuff, 4 feet by 30 inches type machine. That's based off the long mill, just improved in all that kind of fun, large form factor way. So if you are interested in those types of machines, you've been researching. It's all Jack's fault, okay? We love when it's Jack's fault. Jack, you know what? You just got a bump on the list for the beta, the CO2 beta list, because you're a real supporter. You're getting other CNC machine demons to take a look at the long mill, okay? And we do appreciate it. That's honestly how most of our sales come. Like, message for Chris, how about an option to track laser and router hours running time? Are you talking about the estimator and splitting that up, or are you talking about like this is how long you've used the laser for, this is how long you've used the router for? That could actually be a great idea, because then at least we kind of know in terms of degradation, we can kind of track that. Hey, thank you, Bill, for subbing to the Clack. Sorry, I'm thanking him for the Clack Shack. Alan, do you mean that you want a cumulative timer? Like, hey, you've ran the router for 47 hours this month or total, or you ran the laser for this many. I'm not sure it cut all the way through. I'm just gonna be very honest, but it did finish, and we'll take a look at it. Maybe we just need to elevate it. No, we're running to the same issue, and I honestly think that we're probably slightly out of focus. We got a dirty, because we're getting worse and worse, even every time we're increasing the power. So I have to imagine that maybe we just like we gotta replace our lens. We gotta clean it. We got to elevate our material. We have to do a bunch of stuff that we can use to optimize our cutting here. So, I hate to end a stream on a fail. That's like literally my worst. It's the worst streams. But you know what? I'm just a maker like you, okay? And I mess up all the time, and I have to do the troubleshooting just like you do. So I do have to take some time to troubleshoot this thing, give it a good clean, elevate my material, and double check to make sure I'm in focus and really do a focus test. Because maybe the eyeball test isn't really cutting it anymore. Maybe we have to do like the line and elevation test to make sure. Isn't this on the G-Sender statistics page? So maybe we already have this. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not a... Chris, if you're still in the chat, please let me know if there is this feature that exists already that tracks all the running time for laser and router. If not, I am going to head off and make some dinner and go to bed. And I promise you guys I wouldn't cry myself to sleep if this didn't cut through. And I'm going to keep my promise, okay? Never a fail, always a learning experience. Thank you. Thank you so much, Dana. Actually got a quote from Steph on MK2 a few weeks ago, kind of why I'm here. Yeah, that's awesome. Steph is just she's doing great things with customer service. So I'm glad that you were able to get the information that you needed. Guys, always feel free to reach out if you have questions about orders, even if you're just thinking about it. I don't think Chris might be busy, so I will talk to him and see if I can get an answer on the tracking. Nicholas says it might be on the G-Sender statistics page, so maybe if you go to research, Alan, if you go to the resources for G-Sender and try to find the statistics page and where you can get that information, you can double check to see if that's actually possible. And if not, then maybe that's a feature that Chris can add and the G-Sender team can add one day if it's not built into the G-Sender statistics page. But definitely check out the resources to double check that. Guys, we have the new machine statistics in the latest G-Sender Edge version. Cool idea, separate by laser and router, so I've noted it down. See, and that's why Chris is awesome, okay? It's noted down, which means you'll probably see it in a release one day. But yeah, Nicholas was right. On the new G-Sender Edge update, there is a statistics page that will track your total machine time usage, and maybe one day Chris and the G-Sender team will make it so that it's separated by laser and router, because that's information that I would love to see, because then we can kind of keep track of the laser power degradation and see if that's a factor in why certain issues arise. So guys, thank you for joining me. Next week we will try something new, and we will get this thing cutting. I believe it'll be just in time for Christmas. Just before Christmas. And that is my goal, okay? That is my promise. We will cut out at least one Christmas ornament before Christmas, okay? Third time's the charm. Thank you so much for joining me. It's been an experience. I appreciate your support, and hopefully you'll join me in 2 weeks when we try something new. So you know the deal. My name is Ikenna for CNC Labs, and whether it's morning, afternoon, evening, or night, I appreciate you spending a little bit of time with me. Thank you so much. Steve, Alan, Jack, the Clack Shack, Chris, Doug, Nicholas, Bill, Dana, Sean, thank you so much. I appreciate you guys all. If I forgot your name, know that I appreciate you. Raul, Kenny, thank you for joining. I will catch you in 2 weeks. Enjoy your time. Feel free to reach out if you have an issue with LaserBeam, G-Sender, Vortex, anything CNC Labs related. Reach out. Even if you're just curious, go check out the Clack Shack's YouTube channel. Thanks for joining us today, and I'll see you in a couple weeks. Have a good night.